Welcome to Health Talk. I'm Julie Banderas in for Dr. Manny. You know, the average American consumes more than 126 grams of sugar per day. That is roughly 31 teaspoons and more than twice what the World Health Organization recommends for daily intake, which is, by the way, 50 grams. Well, a new documentary, That Sugar Film, takes a look at the real effects it is having on our bodies.
And how old do you reckon you were when you had your first Mountain Dew? Like how old?
I would probably say 2 or 3.
And how much a day would you say you have?
I would say at least 4 or 5 bottles. If it was cans, I would say at least a 12-pack.
Joining me now is Damon Gammo, the star writer and director of That Sugar Film. Gammo also ate 40 teaspoons of hidden sugars a day from so-called healthy foods for the feature. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, why did you want to make this? And I love the fact that you actually ate the 40 teaspoons of the hidden sugar. How'd you feel?
Pretty terrible. I mean, I think we all understand that if we eat too much sugar in kind of soft drinks and donuts, you're going to get sick. But I think not many people realise just how pervasive sugar is in the food supply. It's now found in about 75% of the foods we eat. So I guess that was the point of the experiment. There was so much debate and conjecture on the topic. Some people were saying it was poisonous and toxic. Other people were saying it was great for energy. So I thought the only way to actually find out the truth was to do an own experiment on my own body.
So for 2 months, you recorded what was happening to your body as you were on this high sugar diet. You didn't feel great. I mean, but what did you find out?
Well, look, it was pretty alarming. I mean, I guess the first signs that something was wrong were after 12 days, I'd put on about 5 pounds. And then after 18 days, I'd started to develop fatty liver disease.
Really?
And this is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, kind of didn't exist 35 years ago, and it's now found in nearly 1 in 3 Americans. So that was really a big sort of turning point for the whole film, and everything went up another notch there because a lot of the conjecture and discussion in science at the moment is around this one half of sugar, the fructose, and how it uniquely metabolizes by turning to fat in our liver. So the fact that that happened to me so quickly meant that everything sort of escalated and went to another level.
Oh my gosh, that's really scary. I mean, you talk about hidden sugars. Like, give me an example of hidden sugars that maybe we're not looking out for.
So look, my standard sort of start of the day would be a perceived healthy breakfast. You know, there's pictures of bees and flowers and a sunset on the front cover, and parents might think it's great and essential for your health. A low-fat yogurt full of added sugar and a glass of apple juice. And even that breakfast to start the day is 20 teaspoons. You know, so the point of the film is not to demonise sugar and say you can't have it. It's just about trying to show people where it's hidden, so that if you want to have your chocolate or your ice cream at the end of the day, that's fine. But at the moment, it's probably your 30th teaspoon of sugar for the day.
What are some of the sneakiest sugars on food labels?
Oh, there's some sneaky ones. Probably things like condiments and sauces. So 1 tablespoon of barbecue sauce has 2 teaspoons of sugar in it. Things like ketchup have a teaspoon of sugar in a tablespoon. Low-fat mayonnaises, pasta sauces are full of sugar. You know, and they're things that people would never consider. Even the whole reason I started this experiment was that I found a can of tomato soup in a supermarket and it had 8 teaspoons of sugar in a serving. So again, it's just for people need to be aware of that so that they can actually monitor how much sugar they're supposed to have.
During your experiment, you ate the same amount of calories as you normally do, but I can't believe this when I see it, that you still gained 18 pounds?
I gained 18 pounds. I had nearly cirrhosis of the liver where it nearly hardens.
How long did you do this for?
60 days.
60 days? You had cirrhosis of the liver?
I was pre-type 2 diabetic, I had heart disease risks, and I had 4 inches of visceral fat around my organs and the body. And this is by matching the same amount of calories. And I've listed it entirely on our website. We had doctors and scientists looking at this. There's a lot of new science starting to come out about this and say, are these calories, look, they're the same on the plate, but once they enter into our body, they behave very differently metabolically and trigger different hormones and affect appetite and all sorts of things. And so that certainly happened to me. I don't know, I can't explain it, but it was very real.
You know, I feel sort of like I've been had as a consumer. I mean, you know, these big sugar companies seem like they're trying to confuse the public.
Look, there's no doubt about that. And look, I've spoke to many scientists and experts. We look at that in the film as well, that some of the tactics being used by the food industry are no different than what tobacco used. And that manipulation of science, some of these scientists are being paid to put this information out there. We look at that in the film, but also this lack of integrity around labelling. You see these health slogans like packed with essential vitamin D, and parents believe that, you know, and some of these products have got as much, if not more sugar in them than the junk foods. And I think we need the government to step in and be more accountable there so that the companies can't get away with this. And also the back of the labels, this term about grams of sugar is so ambiguous. We try and convert it into teaspoons so that people can really understand and see what a teaspoon is. And you'd never put 5 teaspoons in your cup of tea for your child, yet you'd give it in a juice quite easily. So people need to know that.
Okay, so advice you can give viewers on how to reduce, their sugar consumption.
Well, look, the simple message of the film is that if you can eat real foods as much as possible, you're going to be fine. Fruits and vegetables in their whole form, snack on nuts if you can, try and kind of shop the perimeter of the supermarket. That's not easy for everyone, depending on their status economically, and we just sort of say that do whatever you can. If you still have to take your family to Taco Bell, then at least choose water instead of the soft drinks for now, and just try and have as much real food as you can, because your body knows how to deal with that. It'll trigger the right hormones, the appetite controls will kick in, and you won't have to go on all these diet shakes and meal plans and whatnot. You just eat real food. The other simple message, especially for parents when you're reading a label, is to know that 1 teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams. So if you see on the back of a juice 20 grams, divide that by 4 and there's 5 teaspoons of sugar in that packet. That just makes it much easier.
And a reminder, how many teaspoons of sugar should we have a day?
Well, the World Health Organization now, for a 2,000 calorie diet, says no more than 6 teaspoons for optimal health.
I mean, and that is actually less than what you had for breakfast on a daily basis.
Well, absolutely.
That's
I was having 3 times that amount by breakfast. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Where can people catch your film, by the way?
It's on iTunes, on demand, and also in theatres. And you can go to thatsugarfilm.com for more information.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. This is very interesting. Now I'm going to have to go count my sugar intake.
Okay.
I can't imagine what I've had so far. Damon Gammo, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you have a health question, send an email to drmanny@foxnews.com. Until next time, I'm Julie Banderas.